Okay, in today's video, we're going to spend some more time in the 3rd Gen 4Runner. What we're going to do is we're going to upgrade the steering wheel cover. So we have this nice cover that I bought at Target a bunch of years ago to cover up this deteriorated leather steering wheel. And what we're going to be doing is going to be replacing it with a steering wheel cover from Ease Detailing. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this old steering wheel cover off. And it's been on there for a couple of years. And it's, there we go. Good old Target special. Okay, let's take a closer look at this steering wheel. You can see why I wanted to do something with it here. If you look real close, I mean, where the sun has faded, or sun has, beaten on this, it's really cracked and kind of nasty. This is more of the adhesive from the steering wheel cover, but the real damage is, the high friction areas. I drive with my left hand, so right in this area, and then of course where it just gets beaten on by the sun. The first thing we want to do is clean up the steering wheel. I have some rubbing alcohol here, and I'm just going to clean this up nice and as good as I can to make sure that double-sided tape sticks. I know we have some leftover adhesive here from that Target wheel cover that I'll need to kind of clean up. And yeah, we'll just get this thing ready to go. Lots of dirt, lots of oil on this steering wheel. I'm going to just open this up and see what's in here. Now, Ease Detailing, they offer different styles for different vehicles. Even the 3rd Gen 4Runner, you can choose between full leather like I have here, or partial leather and neoprene. There's just countless options. And then there's, of course, options for color for the steering wheel cover itself. I just chose black because the tan or the brown that they provide, it's kind of hard to tell whether it's going to match up real well. So, I mean, you can't go wrong with black. So that's what I'm going to go with. And you can also choose what color string you want. I just went with a simple black string for the stitching as well. So let's take a look inside. So we've got the installation instructions, or demonstration as they call it. We got the steering wheel cover itself. And here again, we got two things of thread. We have a pry tool, some double-sided tape, and a little protector for your fingers, I think, when you're stitching this. And I'm assuming there's some sewing needles in there as well. Yeah, there we go. So we got some sewing needles there. So that's what's in the package. Through the magic of video, I'm going to fast forward to the post installation just to give you a quick understanding of what you're going to have left over, or what you're going to need after I already did the job. So I just finished up a few minutes ago, and I was worried about running out of thread, and you don't have to worry about that. I didn't even tap into the second spool, or whatever you want to call it, that they provided. So plenty of thread. I may even redo some of the sections of mine if I am so inclined. And if I want to do that, again, I'm set. I have plenty of thread to do that. Tape, again, I didn't over tape, and I don't think you need to. So there's tape, there's plenty of tape left. One thing I would really recommend, the whole tape and removing the backing of the tape, I would recommend a pair of tweezers. These things are were really helpful in order to get the tape backing off of the double-sided tape when you were, doing the install. So again, just a quick interjection before you get started on your job. So here are the instructions, and now they're showing a demonstration of doing this with the wheel off. And I have seen some videos where folks have actually taken the wheel off and brought it into shop. I mean, that might be a better option if it's a super hot day and you want to be in the air conditioning, because it is kind of a tedious job, but I don't think I want to go through that trouble. But you see that, it talks about where to place the tape on the inside of the wheel cover. A lot of reminders of not to put the tape too close to the edge. So that's repeated a bunch of times. And so yeah, we'll just go through each of these steps and we'll get this thing installed. So the first step is to apply that double-sided tape. And I turn this inside out, and I can see that there's a front and a back. So definitely don't want to lose sight of which side is right. So we'll definitely not remove those stickers. But I'm going to cut some tape. Cut this double-sided tape into little sections like they describe, and we'll start getting it attached in the right spots. I'm going to turn this thing back the right way and make sure that the front and back are aligned properly. And what we're going to do is we're going to start at the bottom and bring this around to the top. So we'll get this thing positioned. Okay, so I think I need an extra set of hands. So to do that, I brought the tilt back down on the steering wheel, and I'm going to try to use my legs here as a third hand or fourth hand. We'll try to get this thing on here. Okay, so we'll get the bottom part on, and we'll just start working our way around and get this thing stretched on. Yeah, that works a lot better. Oh, I think we got this positioned pretty well. Okay, so the instructions say to take off the double-sided tape here at the bottom, the 6 o'clock position first. So we'll do that, and then it says to do it at the top, 12 o'clock. So we'll just do that, then we'll work our way around. I don't have any fingernails, so I'm going to try to use this tool that they gave us to try to peel this tape off. We'll see how that works. Yeah, that's not working so well, so I'm going to get something else a little sharper. So I got some tweezers. We'll see how this works. There we go, much better. Okay, so I got the tape off the bottom here. I'm just going to try to get it stuck on. And then I'll do the same on the top. So with the tape, backing tape off here on the top, just try to get this stuck on here as evenly as possible. So now we got that on there. We'll just take the tape off. What they say, 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock, and just do the same and try to bring this, get it on there so it's somewhat even and straight. Okay, so I'm going to take the tape, backing tape off both sides before I start tucking it in. Don't know if that's advisable or not, but that's what I'm going to do here. Okay, I got the tape off. Now I'm just going to go ahead and start positioning this, start getting it wrapped around here. Okay, now we have this section here. We need to get this tucked in here under the airbag. So what we'll do here is try to give us some space here and just feed that in there. I don't even know that we need to tuck this in all that much, but just go ahead and push that in there. So got to do the front and the back for each of these. And this is why they tell you in the instructions not to put the tape too close to the edge. Okay, so doing the back is a little trickier, but same idea. Just gonna try to fold it over, feed it in there. Oh, I got this thing tucked in as good as I could right now. Go ahead and clean things up and then cool down for a bit, and then I'll start on the sewing. So the first thing you need to do is just put a knot on the string. So I did three loops, a nice little knot. So then I'll run the string through the needle on the other end. So these needles have big eyes, so it should be pretty easy to slip that through there. So what I'm going to try to do, well, what I am going to do is I'm going to start the needle here on the inside of the back, because I want the knot to be in the back, of course. So just go ahead and pierce the leather. Let me pause the video just for 1 second. Now, I'm not going to show you how I stitch this as I'm going because I really didn't know what I was doing. I'll show you the finished product of the bottom section of the wheel, do a little bit better job of explaining how the stitching works, but then I'll do a real demo when I start the top portion of the steering wheel. So hang tight. So if you see here, these threads here, you're just running the needle this way under this side, and then back again through the back, and then you're just weaving that all the way down until you come here, and then of course you need to tie it off. So again, a little bit of a learning curve, not perfectly straight, but it's good. So I'm going to try to get this on camera a little bit better tomorrow because I'm taking a break now for dinner. So back at it the next day. So again, as I said, there's a bit of a learning curve here. So we're going to be working on the top right now. I have the needle pushed through here on the inside. I have, actually I don't have a knot on the end. I need to go ahead and do that. Take the string. No, this is kind of long. I guess a rule of thumb is to use 4 times the length of the area that you're going to be stitching. I think I went a little bit overkill on this, but I guess it's better to have too much than not enough. So on the end here, definitely want to get a good knot. I'm going to do 3 and try to line them up together here. Now I'm in the garage today because it's already 80 degrees and 80% humidity outside early in the morning. Well, it's 10 o'clock, not too early. Maybe early on a Sunday. Okay, so I'm going to pull this through. Okay, so I have my first stitch there. Now I'm going to get some scissors and just clean that up a bit. Okay, this might be a little hard to see, but I ran the needle through the back. If you look at the instructions here, it says we already did this step, right? And now it's saying to go around on the back side and go through the hole there. So that's what we've done. So I'm just going to pull this through now. And at this point, we're dealing with a lot of string, so definitely don't want to get things tangled up. So as you can see here, we have this thing, it's untucked now, right? We spent time tucking this in. Now we need to get it back and tucked in. So let's do that here on the front. Make sure we do it on the back. Okay, and then we're going to tighten this thread up here. Okay, so now we take the needle and we get underneath. See how I'm underneath there? Let me start to zoom in a bit. Okay, so you see here I'm under the thread. So I'll bring that through. I don't want any knots. Okay. So now I'm going to swing around to the back and do the same thing and bringing it that way. Okay, so I have a needle I brought from behind under that thread that's in the wheel cover. And just, now running the thread through it, making sure that it doesn't get bunched up from behind. Okay, so now I'm going to make sure this is getting tight here. So I'm going to give this a nice tug. And now I'm just going to go in and out, right? So under the next thread in the wheel cover, then around to the back, and so on. So I'll just be working my way around here. Now I'm not going to film much of that because the camera is right in my line of sight. So I'll take breaks and show you my progress along the way. Continuing to work my way around here. I'm outside the vehicle now, standing, because this is a little bit taxing on your back and your neck. So try to find what's comfortable for you, and take breaks, because it's definitely a tedious job. So here, you just kind of make sure things are tight as you're going. You'll kind of get into a rhythm. Recommend putting on some music, a book on tape, baseball game, whatever can keep you occupied, because you're going to be in here doing this for several hours. So I just finished the top section. I think it turned out pretty nice. We'll just tackle these two sides and then we'll be good to go. Great. So I just got done with getting these sides on. So pretty happy with it. I think it feels really good. It feels like my 2020 TRD Pro, to tell you the truth. It feels like a good factory fit. Now, one thing you might want to consider, I went with a black string. I know there's different color strings that you could have gone with, but it's so hard to get this 100% even. So having, the black thread, kind of masks, any misalignment. But yeah, so that's something you might want to consider. Super happy with the end result. I finished the installation yesterday, and after reflecting on things since then, the biggest piece of advice for those of you thinking of taking on this job is to give yourself plenty of time. This job is time consuming, and it's monotonous, and you don't want to rush it. All in all, it took me about 4 or 5 hours to get it done, including the extra time to record the steps I took. I recommend doing it over a couple of days and not trying to knock it out on that same day. But I'm super happy with the end result. Those cheap steering wheel covers, like the one I got from Target, are nothing compared to this stitched-on cover from East Detailing. This thing looks great, and it feels like a factory installation. As always, I hope you found this content useful. If you have any questions or want to provide some feedback, please leave me a message in the comments section below. Also, let me know if you like this type of content, and please consider subscribing to be alerted when new content is released. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.